Question of the day. What is your favorite outdoorsy game? Now, I'm a rather indoorsy person, except when it comes to my own yard. I love to work in the yard. I love to cut grass and chop down trees and build stuff. I love all that stuff. But when it comes to like wandering and trekking and trails and all that sort of stuff and hiking and camping, that's out of my wheelhouse a little bit. So let me know what your favorite outdoorsy style game is in the comments below. I can already see what some of the people are going to say because it's such an obvious hit. But today we're taking a look at a game called Meadow, which is a brand new game that looks exciting in the sense that you are wandering around a meadow, collecting stuff with your mind and maybe your mental notebook. What you see on your trip, maybe bugs, birds, in some cases snakes, cottages, fences, all sorts of beautiful stuff. But it's an action selection game that has some interesting tableau building and interesting action selection mechanics, as well as some very pretty art. So let's take a look right now at Meadow from Rebel Studio. So this is Meadow. So here it is all set up for 2 players. And the reason I set it up for 2 players is because in a 2-player game, there's a 5th action that you get. And I wanted to show you that to give you an idea of what it does. It's this one here. You wouldn't normally have that. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take the west cards, south cards, and east cards. You're going to place them out on this tableau. So that'll look like this. You're essentially going to do this. Put all 4 here on the west, 4 on the east, and then 8 on the south. So the reason that is because the south fills both of these columns. The north cards will come in midway through the game. When you reach the end of the 3rd round, you're going to take all these cards out and then shuffle them up, and then you're going to put the north cards out there instead of the south cards. So you have these neat little holders too, by the way, to keep the game very nicely contained and kept really well in that. But you'll notice that there are 2 different orientations on these cards. Some are vertical, some are horizontal. And the reason that is because there are 2 different types of cards. You have your meadow cards and your surroundings cards. I typically would have a little bit more room here. You also get a starting ground card, one with green grass and then the tree forest area. They both have a symbol on the top, and the symbols are what's important because that's essentially your resources at the moment. Now your actions, what you're going to do, you're going to choose to do some different things. Now first though, you're going to take a row of cards. That will give you 1 west, 1 east, and 2 south cards. So let's just say we take this. Another player would take those. You refill, and then this is our starting hand of cards. Now the reason you have a hand of cards is because you're going to do some things. The actions are pretty simple. If you choose to use the pointy tip, they notch into the board. And depending on where they're notched, that's the card you take. So this is, well, I'll show you with a better example. So this is 2. If I put it here, I would take 1, 2. I would take this card. If I put it here, it would be the same thing. If I put it here, though, it would not be the same thing. It would be this card. Same as here. I would put it here, take that card. Here would give me that card. Here would give me this card. So as you can see, depending on where you put it is the card you're going to get. And then you have a 1, 2, 3, and 4 of that. So that kind of gives you some variety on if you see a symbol out there you need, you have a better way to get it. These, on the other hand, they notch into the campsite area over here. So if you notch them like that, there's only 3 spaces available in a 2-player game. The bottom notch is what gives you the action of these special actions. I'll go through these. Again, the question marks is you take whichever number card you want, 1, 2, 3, or 4. This is you take whichever bonus action you want. That also means play a card. When you take a card, you can also play a card. It doesn't have to be the one you took. It can be one out of your hand. Now, this one has gained 2 roads. The roads are important because you'll notice, do we have one out there yet? No, let's see if I can find one. These cards require you to have a road. So this one needs a road. So you would take it, spin the road essentially by flipping it over and putting it there. That's what those kind of cards do. Just different styles of cards, and then you can find discoveries at those locations. If you have the symbol, you can put this on that location just like this, therefore making it worth 5 points. So it's just some interesting mechanics you can do with that. That's what the surroundings cards are. Now, for our main board here, you have, again, a ground card. You have requirements on certain of these cards, and that's our ground card because you can see it's got this symbol. These are the things in the environment here. This is worth 2 points. This is worth 1 point. This is worth 1 point. And they're going to get better and better. The north cards are worth a lot of points as well. But you'll notice this requires you to have in your tableau a ground card that's a forest and a ground card that's a desert. And we don't even see a desert out there right now. So you could play this one, perhaps. This requires you to have a butterfly, so we couldn't play that one. So currently we can't play any of these cards. Now, do any of them require a bug and a bug only? Let's see if that's the case out here. Currently, no. But the reason that's okay, though, is because let's just say you have a bug and this one requires, let's just say a card requires a bug and something else. I'm trying to see if that's an option out here. Yeah, so this one requires a bug and a larva. So we have a bug, but we don't have the larva. What we could do is discard 2 cards out of our hand to make up for that. Now, you could not do that to make up for both symbols. You have to at least have one of them. Now, some of them will require you to put them on certain types of ground cards like this one, if you have those in your tableau. Let's just say we had a butterfly out here. This would have to sit on top of the butterfly card in your tableau out there, hence the reason why it's there. If it has multiple symbols, you pick one to put it on top of. It could be the one with the ground or it could be the one with the butterfly symbol. Anyway, you're going to keep doing that until you build your tableau up. At the end of 6 rounds, the person with the most points wins the game. This bonus action is take any card from the area there. This one is to just simply play 2 cards. This one is to draw 3 cards off of a stack and then discard 2 of them. And again, that's pick any bonus action. That is really the essential essence of the game. Is you're going to be stacking these symbols out here, and as one stacks, you lose the benefit of the one below it. The other thing is, over here on this bonus board, you have these symbols that we've randomly assigned, and there are more, but each game is different. Randomly assign these symbols. If you were to, for instance, have a fence and a house, you would put your token here. You have a 2-point, a 3-point, and a 4-point. Start with the 2. Then let's say I got a fence and a little bird showing, put the 3 here. And let's say I got a little bird and a mushroom showing, you put the 4 here. Person with the most points at the end of the game wins the game. At the end of the day, this is a really pretty game. It is on par art-wise with something like a Wingspan. In fact, I think I like the art in this one better because it's so different. It's not just birds, it's butterflies, and it's butterfly nets and the Ocarina of Time, and all sorts of things are in there. There's a lot to this game, beauty and art-wise, that I really like. Now, as always, we go from art straight into art direction and art design. I like how the notches in the game work. I like that that's part of the game. I like that your action selectors notch into this board or they notch into this board, depending on how well you or how you use them. And depending on which way you notch them or what board you pick, they do different actions. And some of them are related to each other and others really aren't. To me, that's really cool. So, art design is facilitated really nicely with this tableau, and you cascade the southern cards, then the eastern and western cards, and then the northern cards. And then you get a chart of, okay, well, I really need this card to come out. What deck do I need to be looking in? The fact that there's 4 card decks is really interesting, and that only certain cards can come from certain decks is also something I really enjoy, because it means you have to be careful about what you're going to pick. For instance, you might take a card from a deck simply just to get the next one to come out. Or you might play that action in which you draw 3 cards and keep one just because you know that you're looking for one specific symbol, and that's what it becomes, is hunting those symbols. I like the action selection of picking the cards too, of okay, if I put here I can get the 4th one, if I put here I get this one, if I put here I get this one. That to me is really smart because it doesn't block you out instantly. You have multiple ways of getting at a card, really 3 ways of getting at a card if you want it, or 4 technically, because you can play the other one that allows you to take any card, but you don't get to play it immediately. So there's a lot of cool things there. The bonus actions are really cool too. They allow you to manipulate certain things, such as getting a card from anywhere on the mat, such as playing 2 cards, getting extra roads, all that sort of stuff. I also like that there's 2 different types of cards. There's your meadow and then your surroundings. So you're kind of building up this mental tableau of what you've seen on your journey. It is really pretty. I also like that those cards kind of play off of each other. The ground cards lay that base for everything, and then you lose the symbols as you play them over, but you don't lose the points. I think that's pretty cool as well, because it kind of shows that excitement building as you're going through the trip and going through it. So I'm a big fan of Meadow. I rate this as an 8. For those of you who say Bryan doesn't give numerical ratings, well, there you go. There's an 8 right here on this video. 8 rating, great video. Excuse me. 8 rating, some of you might disagree. 8 rating, great game. I'm a big fan of Meadow. This is going to stay in the collection for a long time. Art is phenomenal. The simplicity of it, the quickness in which 2 people especially can play. But it does have just enough meatiness of a strategy to where you're building those tableaus. It reminds me of a Wingspan. I actually like this better than Wingspan just because it allows you to do more stuff. You don't feel like you're into these set patterns over and over. You kind of can feel it out and tactically change your mind mid-game. So, big fan of Meadow. Go check it out, Rebel Studio. I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, etc. And Dice Tower Bryan. Until next time, we'll see you.